Greetings and welcome to our workshop entitled Make Learning at School and Learning at Home Seamless. Use the deeply digital OER-based curricula created in the Collabrify Roadmap Platform. Long title. Here we go though, folks. It's presented by yours truly, Elliot Soloway. I'm at the University of Michigan. I'm co-director of the Center for Digital Curricula, and we'll say a little bit more about it as we proceed. I'm joined this morning by colleagues, Dr. Kathy Norris. She's a Regents Professor at the University of North Texas, and she's co-director also of the Center for Digital Curricula. We're very open-minded in Michigan. And I'm joined by several classroom teachers. Denise Gallimore, she's from Marysville Schools, retired, but an amazing teacher. Dawn Michalak, she's from McClare Sawden Elementary School in Bay City, Michigan. Wendy Skinner from Brandywine Elementary School in Niles, Michigan. And we're joined by Ann Tapp, professor in the Saginaw Valley State University School of Education. Thank you, folks. Here we go. Our intent today is to show you how we create deeply digital curricula using the Collabrify Roadmap Platform. By deeply digital, we mean interactive, highly interactive. So much of the curricula, the digital curricula that's out there in OER format is digitized curricula. That is, it's curricula created for paper and pencil, but put on the computer. That's digitized curricula. It's okay, it's a place to start. It's free, good. But we want to create deeply digital. We want to create highly interactive curricula that takes advantage of all the computational tools that are available on the internet. That's what this is about. And we've created a tool called the Collabrify Roadmap Platform, abbreviated Collabrify, which enables us and hopefully you to create deeply digital curricula. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to use the Collabrify Roadmap Platform to create material, digital materials. Now, Collabrify is a browser-based tool, so it's device independent. It runs in Safari, it runs in Chrome, Firefox, any browser that obeys the World Wide Web Consortium guidelines. Use that browser. Collabrify supports the full life cycle of a digital lesson. So in a digital lesson, you create it, okay, then you distribute it to the classroom. Each student has it on their computer. The teacher can monitor the enactment of that lesson as the kids are doing it. We'll show you how using Collabrify. It's really amazing that in real time, you can see what each of the kids are doing on their computer. So if the kids are at home because of the lockdown, no problem. You can still see what they're doing. And you can talk to them. That'll come. After you monitor, you can then have to revise the lesson because you've learned something about the lesson, okay? And then you share it with your colleagues. You post it and you share it with your colleagues. These digital lessons are represented in what we call roadmaps. A roadmap basically is a concept map. You have nodes and you have arcs. It's visual. It's really important, visual. The students these days are the Gen Zers, right? The Gen Z generation is the internet generation. They're not the text generation. They're not the paper and pencil generation. They're the animation, the video, the colors, the visual generation. So if we're going to create curricula, it has to be visual. It's not textual. That's 19th century. So we're going to use roadmaps during this presentation to teach you about creating roadmaps. Yeah, I know. Love the symmetry. Okay, so what you're seeing now on the screen is a roadmap, albeit a simple one. It's got 4 nodes, and you can see the diamond node says talk, talk, talk. That's what we're doing now. We're talk, 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 talk. So let's continue enacting this roadmap. I do want to show this node. So you can see that this is a circle. This could be a square. It could be different colors. And again, we can click launch. And this is the website that Kathy Norris was mentioning. We are the Center for Digital Curricula at the University of Michigan. We're out of the College of Engineering, We have good friends in the School of Education, but we're based in the College of Engineering. And what we provide, our mission, as Kathy said, is to provide digital curricula free. And we've been focusing on grades K-5. Right now we have grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, and you're going to see those curricula in a few minutes. I urge you to come to this website, and again, I'll send out this URL, but you could say that you could Center for Digital Curricula, University of Michigan, but I'll send out the URL. I also urge you to come here because you can see pictures of the classrooms where the roadmap curricula have been in use. And I'm just going to scroll up here. You can see different classrooms doing different things. These are young kids. This is K-5, right? The bottom big picture is Monique Kuhlman's class in Haas Elementary. And each of them have a roadmap on their screen. Some of them are working collaboratively. Some are working independently. I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. And you
Elliot,
can see.
could you maximize your screen? Can you
Oh,
make it a
yeah.
little bit bigger?
You're
So
right.
see?
Make it bigger.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, no, no. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, terrific, terrific. Okay, okay. So I'm going to scroll back up, and again, we urge you to visit the website. Now I'm using the tabs to go back to the roadmap. See, it got very big, and what we're now going to do is describe a little more detail. I'm clicking on Describe Roadmap Center, and we're going to describe the tool that we use to create the digital curricula. We're going to go relatively quickly to give you an overview, but what you're then going to see are going to be examples of curricula that use the roadmap.center that have created and that the children have enacted over the last few months. So again, I'm going to the drawer, I'm clicking on Launch, and this is a tool that we built called PDF Pal. There are many PDF markup tools. They're wonderful, but they're too complicated. We need a very simple PDF markup tool. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see that this tool has a pencil, a text tool, and a highlighting tool, and that's it.
We're not seeing that.
You're not seeing it.
We're not
Oh, well.
seeing it. We're seeing something that says sign in with Google.
Yep, sorry. Okay, then let me do this. Is that better? Can you see the bottom of the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
okay.
yes, now.
Okay, great. When you log into roadmap.center from here right now you need a Gmail account, a Google account, but by the middle of July, you can use a Microsoft, it doesn't matter. You can log in with any email account. You go to modify my roadmaps. This is my collection of roadmaps. I have hundreds of them. I can search them, I can find them, and then I click on one and it opens up. And when it opens up, this is what a roadmap would look like. Again, the one we've been using, but you can see that this is one of the roadmaps that I have. I want to point out in the upper right-hand corner, these three dots, these three dots allow you to bring in collaborators. That's why it's called the Collabrify Roadmap Platform, because you can use synchronous collaboration. People logging in, working together. What's on one screen is on another screen. And notice the phone icon. This uses voice over IP technology. So the teachers or the children can talk to each other through the computer. They don't need a cell phone. There's no cost. They can talk to each other. That's to support collaboration. These are all the tools that are available in the Collabrify Roadmap Platform for curricula. And up here, you can see the Collabrify Roadmap. That is a hierarchy of roadmaps. And then we have an animation tool, a concept mapping tool, the PDF Pal, a Venn diagramming tool. We don't mean for you to be glued to the computer, so we have a learning activity that can be done offline. Go ask your parents something. Go measure something. Over here on the right, a web resource, any URL, a game, a simulation, a website, any URL can be in a roadmap. And down here, you have your standard Google tools if you want to include them. Here is an example roadmap. from a curricula for 3rd grade. It's called NGSS Science, Next Generation Science Standards. They all, the curricula that are aligned with NGSS all start with a driving question. How can we show our predictions about the motion of our toys? And our toy might be a little toy cart that gets propelled by a rubber band. And these are activities, these are nodes that the children click on, it opens up, and then they do the activity that is opened up. It's all browser-based, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, not the Microsoft browsers, the older ones, because they don't obey the Worldwide Consortium rules. The newest one actually does. Notice that we have an activity called Turn and Talk. Now, if you're in the classroom, you could turn and talk to your elbow partner. That'd be fine. But if you're at home, you would use the phone and you would talk to your colleague. That's why we say that this curricula makes the learning seamless. That if you're in the classroom, you might physically turn and talk. If you're at home, you would use the phone. You could still use the same curricula at home or at school. And we have free a whole year's worth of NGSS Science for grade 3, 4, 5, and by the end of the summer, we'll have K1, 2. We have social studies, we have math, Engaged New York math. It's all curricula, it's all free for a whole year. This is what the student sees. It's a little different. The banner is green, and so that when it's green, you know you're at the student level. They can't move nodes around. They can't add a node yet. When they click on a node, the drawer opens up. There are instructions, and then they click on launch activity, and then they can launch that learning activity. If students have trouble reading, they can click on the microphone icon, and it will read to them the instructions. When they're finished, they click the completed, and then they can see a check mark by the node. Kids love it. Notice that the roadmap is graphical. It's visual. The Gen Zers, our children in schools, are visual. They like to see visual. They like to see where they started, where they're going, and how they're going to get there. That's what the roadmaps are all about. The roadmaps support self-directed learning, self-regulated learning. We believe in open education resources, OER. This is the Go Open Michigan site that houses our roadmaps free. And we right now have about 71 roadmaps on the Go Open site. But by the end of the summer, we'll have hundreds of free roadmaps, all aligned to state standards, all aligned to the Common Core state standards. So now I'm finished with this node. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to use my tabs. I'm going to come back to this tab. I'm going to close that drawer. Now watch, I'm going to use the tabs, and I'm going to go back to my original roadmap. Okay, so I finished the introduction. Now we're going to talk about how can you create deeply digital curricula in a roadmap. And Denise Gallimore is going to talk. I'm going to drive. Okay, so here we go. I'm clicking on that roadmap. The drawer opens up. It's always the same. Click on a node, drawer opens up, click on launch, and now that roadmap, because it's a hierarchy, is going to open up. And Denise is now going to take over presenting and talk about how can you create deeply digital curricula.
Thank you, Elliot. And during this, if you have any questions or something, a little bit more information, feel free to interrupt or chat, put it in the chat box, because I really want you to see this is pieces of the social studies. As Elliot just mentioned, we are in the process of creating year-long standard-based curriculum. And my content area for most of my career has been the social studies area. I was involved in the Go Open and co-authored one of the textbooks that not is just used in Michigan, it's used all over our country. And so I needed a tool, and the roadmap, the platform that I'm using now, was the key for me bringing that curricula. So I've just chosen a few of the nodes that I believe show you specifically, as Elliot said, what the roadmap can do as far as delivering. So the first one is teaching social studies, and this is based on a 5th grade classroom, is thinking like a historian. Inside of the roadmap is a tool called just map, not roadmap. It is a type of a graphic organizer. Now for your K through 2-3, you might have more pictures. The children would be matching pictures, categorizing, classifying. In this instance, what historians ask, and we want the kids to learn not just history facts or timelines or dates, but how to learn. And we kind of say, we're going to be history detectives this year. So the old activity was all paper and pencil and cutting out and gluing and putting all these boxes on papers and then connecting them with arrows. And the beautiful thing about this tool is that it's done digitally. You can move, and we take the questions that the historian might ask, and the kids learn how. Do we need a timeline? Do we need a cause and effect? Or who? Those questions up there. But the kids would then, as you see in the middle, there's a little direction, connect the nodes easily. And then they might do this in a small group in the classroom, discuss it, turn and talk, and then we would discuss, you know, oh, okay, I see that you think timelines, what type? Oh, and then that's those arrows. And again, another educator that I'm working with to create the 5th grade unit, she's used the paper and pencil and said it was just a mess. So this is just a beautiful way to take large chunks of information, whether it's history or social studies or science, or I've used it in ELA, and put it into an organizer. And it's a beautiful, you know, it's colorized. The kids like it, they like to manipulate it, they learn, and they can add their own, they can add extra to it quite easily. So it's a really great way of a graphic organizer digitally, and K through 5 learn it quick, and again, it's just been a powerful tool for, and I showed just as I begin the study of you know, being a historian. Let's look at this, and we come back to this quite often. And then moving along, I wanted to show how we can take, as Elliot said, any web resource or anything in your file. This is the MyOpen textbook that we use as a text piece of our social studies, along with, if you're familiar, if you're Michigan, it's MC3 Mesa units. But you can take a textbook, you can kind of cut it or splice it. And the beautiful thing is if you scroll down just a little bit, Elliot, thank you, you can still use the interactive pieces within. So there's a primary and secondary resource, which is a big thing for kids to understand, where historians get that information. And so by bringing it in, you get to, you know, the students are still able to interact within the textbook this way. We don't just want them to see a picture of this book. We want the book to be completely interactive, like so many of teachers' resources are. So again, the tool allows you to bring it into the roadmap in a way, and there would be a direction for the kids what to do with it in that instruction box, and then, you know, to focus on. So moving along the map, we would go to, as we said, we're creating full years of curriculum. One of our team members, Monique Coleman, this is a full year of 3rd grade social studies. I mean, I know, full year. It is the 4 units that are, you know, all standard based, of course. And I think we want to open maybe the top one, the geography. So within that roadmap, there are all of your lessons, and each one of them is, you know, you can see the different types of nodes. If we go one more, so any of those would go right into, here's the driving question, here's the inquiry. So where's Michigan located? She's using Collabrify Writer as another tool. We'll show you PDFs that you have used for 20 years or new ones, you can put it all in. So your unit, it allows the teacher to do a wonderful curriculum mapping. But again, your lessons are here, and sometimes teachers will use it as is, the whole, sometimes teachers will add or delete, and it's so simple to do within the platform. And that's what Elliot's showing, because we all have, you know, after teaching as many years as I have, I still have some oldies but goodies that I like to use. So I could add my own as well. And our teachers that we work with love that part. And that was a full year. We are in the process of creating that for K through 6, and I'm in the 5th grade world. We're about 4 of 7 units away, so it's exciting to watch that come together. We also, I wanted to show you, I just mentioned PDF. This is a beginning of the year where we engage our students in creating their class constitution. Students are in groups, and they are kind of talking about, you know, their student rights, what they'd like to see in their classroom. And of course, they are in, you can see the different colors inside of the notes. So if they're in the blue group, red group, and they can put their information in the chart, and this PDF is brought in from our, again, our social studies unit. And then this would lead to the class discussion. And then we create, you know, from here, the, you know, the class constitution, and we'll be signing it with a feathered pen and all. So it's easy, as you can see, to add, to take things away, to colorize. The PDF pal is just so awesome. You again, typing, writing, highlighting, all the different colors. And it's great when kids are working together to be able to not only, you know, colorize in the notes, but in their actual work. So you know whose is whose. And again, any PDF will go in and has that capability. And as I said, I have the student engaging. This is adaptive then into another powerful tool. You'll see the animation pieces of it later. The kids love this. We are about to create then from our work. We're gonna write the We the Student preamble. We're gonna take that work from that node, and we're going to create the We the Students of this year. Was Mrs. Hart's class. And the kids, you know, we know when kids buy into the classroom and the things, but I've had kids years later, because there's going to be 7 articles like the Constitution, there's going to be amendments and Bill of Rights. It's just a great way to bring all of that information, but let them begin the year being part of the building of the classroom. So the flip book is a great place that you can bring information, larger chunks. Like I said, you'll see later, it's a great animation. My students have animated so many things within it. Also, we've done poetry units inside of it, but this was just a feed off from the beginning of the class year work. Next is the multiple learning styles, and the Collabrify Writer is a tool within. The most beautiful part of this is that you can take any video and you can bring it in to this Collabrify Writer without getting any of the advertisements. You can also ask questions to the students based on, obviously, you know, the grade level and the video. And below you can see there's a question: which amendment affects you most? And the kids love this Bill of Rights rap song. They sing it. And you know, again, you can deliver this with the questions. You can add text inside of the Collabrify Writer, and it can be read to your student. You see that little microphone. More questions, more videos, more pictures, or sometimes, you know, especially with the younger students, there might be some more directions on the header. So we use this tool for, well, I do all the time for videos and text, so students can respond, and they can respond, you know, they can respond in their own way, and you can personalize this for different groups as well. And we'll get into that later, but you can easily move it. Oh, I want that video here instead, or I want to add. It's just a powerful platform, and the kids love those videos. So I know, and I've gone fast through. I want to share, though, that, you know, often administrators want to know, okay, you're using all these digital resources and tools, and does your data, does your state and local assessment data support the use of digital and roadmaps? This is our state average is on the left of 4 solid years of social studies instruction in the state. the pink on my screen are, I was responsible for teaching all students over 100, and Gardens was the school, and the other two buildings that were not using the digital resource or roadmaps. I just want you to see that we were way above the state average. The students took the assessment, I didn't, but one of the most powerful pieces that we find is within the roadmap, students are problem solving, investigating. They learn the steps to taking the assessment. They learn that you know, they're going to have to go beyond, because we never know what the assessments are going to ask, and all of the different tools and the personalizing of the tools is so helpful for them. I also build roadmaps with test review from grades like third and fourth grade. That you saw from the full year of the social studies. I can go back easily and grab those economics or those geography reviews, because I'm sure in your states or wherever you are located, students are responsible for 2 to 3 years worth of information that if they haven't used it, they lose it. So finally, I just included, I was trying to get a little video. My students, we love roadmaps. I'll just show you Jillian. She has been one of my road mappers. She keeps telling me I got to get to the middle school with her roadmaps. And in her words, a child, it's so cool to have such a great way to learn things. She mentions the videos, the interactions, the animation, and she, during the COVID, she said she taught her younger sister how to use roadmaps, and Jillian's been a part of our webinars and a part of our discussion, and it's just, so that's the true payoff. My colleague Kristen's there and has taken this on. She's joining our team to start creating some math ones, and she said, I cannot do this at first. I'm not techie at all. And she has proven that, you know, once she got a hold of this platform, she just continues to grow with her students and professionally, and said, I don't know how I ever taught without it now. So I am.
Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
One thing I might point out, people don't love software usually, but we have teachers saying, teachers and kids using the word love with respect to the roadmaps. So here's another teacher saying it.
Thank you. And we have so many of those, but I just, like I said, that pretty powerful when the students, they want to take roadmaps or they want to do this at home. And I didn't normally have kids asking for that homework until I began with this platform. So that is a quick snippet, and any questions or anything
Yep. Questions, type them into the chat. I'm sure Dawn is watching, right, Dawn?
Yeah.
Thank you. And
Yes.
so if you have questions, type them in or interrupt. It's okay. I mean, we're moving, but we have time. We do have time. Okay. So the next part, you've seen a little bit about creating deeply digital. And what we mean by deeply is interactive. It's not digitized curricula. It's not paper and pencil curricula put on a computer. A lot of curricula is like that because, well, it was good on paper. Okay, put it on a computer. We call that digitized curricula. But we're trying to create deeply digital, and the notion there is it's interactive. It takes full advantage of the computational, the computing power, the Zorch of the machine to create interactive digital curricula. So the next presentation is, well, why would I do roadmaps? Why? And Wendy Skinner is going to present. I'm clicking on Why Roadmap. And again, the drawer opens up. I'm clicking on Launch. It's going to open up and another roadmap. And this roadmap, Wendy Skinner will present.
Hi, guys. I teach second grade. I came on board with the team on Friday, March the 13th. We were told that we were going to go paper. We're going to use paper. And I found, my husband found the team. I went for a webinar on Thursday. I did a make and take on Friday. And on Monday, I had this rolling out for my kids because it is the best thing that has happened for me and for them. The parents love it. I love it. And my kids, my second graders, absolutely love it. It's a privilege to come here and share this with you. Okay, so why roadmaps? So there's a little clip here that a parent, she came downstairs and this is what she saw. I don't know if we'll be able to hear it. I think you will have to mute the sound. No. Okay. So
Elliot, maybe if you maximize too, we could see a little better.
so this little chap here, she came downstairs and she just couldn't believe it. He was showing his little kindergarten brother which keys to press, and they were talking about what the answer was, and he was so fully engaged. You know, it wasn't like, oh, you know, it's time for school. He was there, and they were collaborating together, and I just thought that really showed the power of this tool, that you just want to go and investigate. It just highlights all of those things. Thank you.
Okay.
So the possibilities are absolutely endless. A lot of the teachers on the team, we would personalize this because of our children and not having that physical connection with them anymore. So my theme is Hogwarts, it's Harry Potter theme. So my children are used to this. And so it was a really nice way. I could have had a voiceover here as well saying, good morning, guys, how's it going? You know, miss you guys. And I had their work displayed and they could see that, parents could see that. It was a very motivational tool. And my schedule. So every child received this schedule on a Monday morning. Some parents wanted it at 7 a.m., some wanted it at 10 or 11, but you send it out there and people can take it when they want, when they need it. And my class kind of guided me with this. They wanted a lot of structure. So the red nodes are my literacy, the blue nodes were my math. I have the brain ventures kind of in the middle, recommended by Connor. That's a physical activity that he enjoyed so much. He thought he wanted to share with the rest of the class. So we put that on there. I mean, how empowering is this for our kids to be able to do this? The way you structure this is completely versatile. So I did it like this for my kids, but however you want to do it, however it meets your needs, you can do that. So it's very powerful.
I want to point out these are second graders. On the screen, they have this map and they have no trouble navigating it. No trouble whatsoever.
I mean, it was great because when a child has finished one of the nodes, it changes color as well. So as the teacher, I could go in, there's an assessment level further below, but I could go in, I could see who had done what, and of course you've got to check, right? They're second graders. So you go in, you can check, you can make marks on the work, you can do a little voiceover, and just to keep them on track because, you know, some people like literacy more than math or vice versa. So it's a really good way of recognizing that and keeping them going with it. Also with the schedule, I could share this and work with my colleagues. So we could share the same schedule, but they would be tweaking it for their kids' needs. I can tweak it for mine. We're all sharing the same curriculum and it's all in one place. My children don't have to go anywhere else. It's all on my roadmap. So my district, they do Reading Street as a curriculum, and I had to provide those PDFs as evidence for my district. And I could do that. I was so upset when we first found out that we were doing it, and I was going, no, but I've got roadmaps. But I could put it in there and it fulfilled everybody's needs. That was a great way of showing the diversity of this platform. So also as part of the curriculum, we have a story each week and we read the story, and usually, you know, my children are sat in front of me and there are questions and I would put questions, but I found Screencastify, and I could read my story and the children could see me, and their response was hilarious. Parents were responding, oh, they could see Mrs. Skinner, and it was just like they were in front of you, Mrs. Skinner. I mean, so if I'm in the classroom, it's great. I can use roadmaps. if I'm not in the classroom, I can still use roadmaps. I can connect with my children. I can give them the curriculum, and I can meet those individual needs. It's so powerful. Reading is fun. So we were talking about fluency. I can put a node into my roadmap, and I can connect with my students through Zoom or through Google Meet, or I can use my telephone. I can talk to them. I can listen to them read, and I can follow that reading. And so one of the fun activities is karaoke, right? You've got a friend in me. I won't sing because it's not very pleasant. But my little friend down here, Mum videoed him because he was so engaged. And she said, and Mrs. Skinner, he didn't even know he was learning. I mean, it was just, it blew everybody's minds what was happening. So last of all, just here we're using the web resources. You can post any URL into this platform, and you've got those links. It's all child friendly. My guys were doing a glow and grow comment about roadmaps and what they enjoyed, and you know, what could we do better. And it's just, it's our review, it's our evaluation, and we would do that as normal in the classroom. So I could continue my schedule. I can do literacy in the morning, math in the afternoon. I could have a gym teacher, an art teacher, all join in, all share that same roadmap for my kids to get hold of. So it was inspirational. I had 100% participation for at least the 4 weeks. I mean, it was incredible. Everybody wanted to go onto roadmaps, and my parents are even asking now, so next year, what does it look like? And I said, well, we're okay because I've got roadmaps. So just a big thank you to the team. The team are absolutely amazing. And just this has been a heartwarming experience for me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Wendy. And you folks are all over the world, but we will work with you. Wendy's experience is not unique. We will help you. You want to use this? We're there. We'll make phone calls. Our techie will call the parents. He's an amazing guy. We will help you. So let's continue. I'm going to clean it up a little bit here because you get a lot of nodes open once you get going here. So now you need to see some examples of what students did. You saw some examples, but we're going to show you some more examples of what children have done in roadmaps. Collabrify, working collaboratively or working solo. And Dawn Michalak is going to talk to us about that. So again, I'm clicking on the node, how do students demonstrate learning? And then I'm going to click on the launch, and it's going to open, again, a hierarchy, another roadmap. And now we're going to go through this roadmap. Dawn, take it away.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm going to show you some examples for some of the applications or apps. So Read and Answer is something that I've just used. It's called Collabrify Writer is the name of the app, and you can change the title. So right now I've named it Read and Answer. So I'm teaching summer school, just started this week with brand new kids that have never used roadmaps. And I have the directions in there, and you see the speaker icon so they can be read aloud. And then I have a question and response where it has the purple box for students to type their answer. Now, my kids that are in my summer school class need a lot of support with reading. So I also gave them the option to record their answer because sometimes that writing can be intimidated for my struggling readers.
I'll play it.
And well, we can't hear her answer, but she is a real struggling reader, but she was not intimidated by recording. And this is her very first experience with roadmaps, first day, and she was able to record herself. So it's very intuitive. And as we go down this is a video embedded by one of my students who was using roadmaps all year. They recorded a goodbye message for their classmates. So he enlisted his sister to record him, and then he was able to import his video from his drive. And so it's very clever. Third grade going into fourth grade, he catches the ball and says, "Catch you next year." So it's very cute. So you can see how Collabrify Writer allows for differentiation. So kids who are brand new, struggling readers, to that child happened to be gifted and talented students. So both ends of the spectrum. Now, this is an assignment that was included for an English language learner. I think it was a 5th or 6th grader, and we are helping them with opinion writing. So we broke it into different chunks, asking a question, so then they could, in the purple box, write their response. And so step by step, leading them to writing a short opinion piece. And you can see that's real kid work with all the approximated spelling too. So this is authentic stuff. So supporting, you know, our readers that are struggling, our gifted and talented, our English language learners, so we can really adapt to our students. And so I want to show you our next application, PDF Pal. And in elementary school or high school where you are making copies for kids, don't discount that color. We get very excited about using color, and so do our students. So sometimes maybe you've noticed in your students that they are allergic to directions. And so my third graders, you know, they avoid reading directions like you can't believe. So I love that when I am creating an assignment in PDF Pal, I can highlight and color the directions that I know they're not going to bother with. And so that really makes them pop out and stand out. Now in PDF Pal, there's a pencil tool that allows them to draw, or you can see the check marks that were made using the pencil tool. They can also type, and they can change the color of the font by clicking on the palette. So all those color options are very exciting for me as a teacher and for students. And as we we go to the next slide. You'll see again, wow, that color. So using it for science was that first assignment, using this for math, where students figure out the problem and they can type in their answers. You see in the corners, 4 times 40 is 160, and they figured out that 8 times 20 is 160. So they can mark it with the pencil T or type in true and so on. So it's very adaptable. And we go to the next slide. And this is something that I used during the COVID closures of our elementary schools. I like to share a novel with my students and put it on the projector so that we can look at that language. These are, you know, elementary students, they need to see that print. It makes it more powerful, it makes it more real, and also helps with their learning and their different learning styles. So they can highlight vocabulary words, powerful verbs. They can annotate. You notice this student highlighted something and then on the side wrote what they were thinking in 2 different places, in the yellow and the pink, so they can color code it also. And this really helped with our distance learning, because normally if I'm reading a novel to the kids, we can share it. But I had to figure out a way to do that when our schools were closed. And so just taking a snapshot of a page I felt was important and sharing that with students helped fill that gap as our schools were closed. And we can go to the next application, which is a fan favorite of students. This is called Flipbook. And I have several different examples in here. The first one, first couple are math, how I've used it with math, and drawing fractions. You notice the first student, black and white with straight lines. So they had the option to use straight line tool. Then they worked together. This was a collaborating activity. So the next student chose to use color and chose to freehand, and you can tell the difference. And then on the third example, they shared responsibility. And you can tell that because we have our freehander with the crooked line, we have the straight line, then again we have the crooked line. So they really became good at taking turns with each other, which is something that maybe you wouldn't have noticed right away. And then on the next slide is another pair of students, mostly using the freehand tool and labeling by typing in our flip book. A different example is students can take a picture of themselves. And so this is my little guy who the assignment was to take a picture and then draw your selfie. So that was a fun activity. Kids love Flipbook. They will ask during their free time. They will ask during recess, can I go to Flipbook? Now this is an English language learner assignment where they read a book about courageous people who've changed the world, and they dragged the picture to the description to make that matching, and those pictures are actually snippets from the book. So it matched up very well. And then we're going to show you some animation. So this can be used with kindergarten on up. It can be as simple as this one. This was made after a student watched a 7-minute instructional video while during our at-home learning when schools were closed because of COVID, with no support at home from parents. And he was able to put in 10, 11 pages and create this animation.
That's amazing. A kindergartner.
Kindergarten student.
A kindergarten
with
student.
no previous experience with Flipbook. And then as we continue, we'll show you some other kindergarten or second grade animations. And this is the lesson that they followed. So they just had those 4 or 5 steps. Excuse me. And so this is what it looks like when the child completed it. And when they got to the end and made their own animation, we play the animation by clicking the play button down at the bottom. And this one was a kindergarten animation in 9 slides. And they create this by a simple add a page, copy a page, copy a page, change it, copy a page, change it. And then this is one of my favorites because of the detail. They were working on predator, prey. And I tell you, one of the things my students love to do is just get on Flipbook and make animations and giggle with each other. And it's a very simple form of doing some coding. And the bug disappears. I mean, it's just fantastic. I think this one was a second grade student.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, Elliot's favorite. This is a kindergarten student, his version of predator prey.
A kindergartner did this.
I love how he moved Spider-Man and made the web disappear. I mean, that's amazing.
That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Sorry. Back. And now.
And the most important takeaway for me is what it's done with my students. Now, if you look at this picture, I'm sure that you notice they are involved with each other. They're involved with their assignment. And the other thing I want you to notice is there's no teacher in that picture. These are my students from this school year. And I did not take this picture. But I am not necessarily running the show. They are. And so what it has changed in my students is their ability to work with other people. The skills that they have developed as far as being respectful, helping each other without giving the answer away, taking ownership of the learning has been amazing. They have embraced problem solving. They don't need me to be the holder of all knowledge. And so what has amazed me, this isn't something that I had intended. This was not something that I was looking for. This was an amazing thing that happened in my classroom as I watched it unfold. They relied on each other. I could go and move around the classroom for 30 minutes without a single question being posed to me because they looked to each other. And so this is really building learners that can collaborate, which I think is the most important life skill that they have developed. And it was all because of roadmaps. That's what I did differently. It was amazing. So thank you, and please continue to put your questions in the chat. And if you haven't put your email in and would like a follow-up email, please do that as well. Thank you.
Please. Yes, thank you, Dawn. Please put your email in the chat and we'll follow up with you. Now we're going to pop up a level, and we're going to have a presentation by Dr. Ann Tapp, and she's going to talk about the implications of roadmaps for education, higher education. So, Ann, take it away.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to be with you. I'd like to begin with a quote from George Corus, who happened to have been my seatmate on a plane to the American Association of Colleges for Teacher Education Conference, where we were both presenting on educational technology. It was meant to be. Technology will not replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational. I want you to think about that for just a moment. Roadmaps is transformational. Being in education for 30 years, I'm critical, as are most of us, when it comes to a new curricular tool or curricula. I was so impressed with the organizational structure, depth of thought, as well as meaningful, motivating, interactive experiences for students at the preschool to grade 12 levels and at the college and university levels. I'd like to now show the screenshot of my course. As a university professor, many of you recognize this as Canvas, our LMS. As a university professor, I will use roadmaps in my undergraduate and graduate level courses from this moment on. I have used the module option within our learning management system to introduce and deliver curriculum. So you're seeing a screenshot of a graduate level course, and roadmaps will be a much more user-friendly and meaningful way to deliver curriculum as opposed to the dull black and white modules. And I believe the available tools will help make what is traditionally a lecture-heavy delivery to a more meaningful and engaging curriculum. They're right there at your fingertips. So I'd like to show now my brain venture that a graduate student of mine created just last week. After experiencing a Zoom meeting with the Roadmaps team, I knew this product was exactly what my graduate educational technology class needed, as it is best practice. Each student who is a teacher from preschool to first grade designed a roadmap brain venture, and mixed the two together, for future use within their classroom. You are seeing here one on butterfly life cycles, designed for first graders. My students were so impressed with roadmaps and will be using it for instructional delivery within their classrooms and schools. I'm going to share now some of their quotes. Lynn Freeman, who is a GSRP or an age 4 teacher in Traverse City, Michigan, stated that it was really easy to learn how to do and a fun way to organize and present learning activities for students. She especially loved the collaborative piece. It allows a creator to edit documents with any co-collaborators. And she states she will not teach any other way. Mary Bierlein, who was a first grade teacher in Frankenmuth, Michigan, US, stated that roadmaps and brain ventures are geared toward the whole child through fun and meaningful learning activities. It allows for interaction between the student and the content and assessments through interactive activities. She talks about giving children many deep learning experiences surrounding a theme, and further states children are encouraged to be creative and use their imaginations while engaging in higher order thinking. Ashton Levan from Saginaw Township Schools states that this helped her to organize lessons, and it provides interactive lessons that students can explore to develop deeper thinking. And she loves the talk to text feature, especially for beginning readers. Think about this when introducing new vocabulary in your curricula. So she loves that she can control what her students see, and she states that roadmaps will be a key component of her curricular delivery. Lauren Jones, who is a kindergarten teacher from Saginaw, Michigan, states that roadmaps allows for a systemic and meaningful way to deliver an inquiry-based curriculum. She loves its user-friendliness and states it's perfect for the learner and families at home. And especially in this time of at-home learning, this is more important than ever. She states that Roadmaps is organized, interactive, and is a deep learning platform. And lastly, Jenna Diener from Washington Elementary in Bay City, Michigan states that Roadmaps was so easy for parents and students of any age. She loved that she had total control over what her students were accessing. Further, she states, I will be using Roadmaps to help my students stay connected and learning in a meaningful way. So roadmaps need to be introduced to students at the university level. They need to be introduced to pre and in-service teachers for use within their clinical experiences and classrooms. Roadmaps is truly the best thing going in educational technology today. So this next node shows my contact information. Please feel free to contact me anytime, and I would be glad to elaborate on the amazing attributes of roadmaps.
Thank you, Anne. We'll make this roadmap available to you. I will send it out to you. And so when you log in, you could have this information. You can have Anne's contact information. No problem. Okay. Thank you, Anne. Okay. What I'd like to do with Dr. Norris, talk to you now a little bit about the implications for K-12 and the challenge. How are we going to change education? Anne Tapp has said this is the best thing going. I believe it, I believe it, I believe it. And our colleagues believe it. And we've seen it with the children. And it does work. It really does work. But the question then is, how are we going to get it out? How are we going to change education? And I'd like to ask Dr. Norris to talk a little bit about the role that technology has played over the last 30 years, the tools, and how she sees this technology, the roadmap technology, changing education in the future. Dr. Norris?
Thank you, Elliot. When I heard Dawn talking about introducing this to her students and how excited they got, it reminded me of a story that I heard at Texas Instruments when Elliot and I were working with them years ago, when they were thinking about developing a device for students. And the story had to do with the TI calculator and how it made the inroad into education. And it seems that the TI calculator was really discovered by a couple of professors at Ohio State University. But it wasn't until those professors started creating curriculum and teaching it to the teacher educators that it began to spread. So what Anne is talking about is exactly what made that piece of equipment, that TI graphing calculator, a fixture in mathematics and science classes. It was the teachers at the university who spread that to their students, and it went out that, in other words, that they were training the teachers at that level to be able to use digital technology. Well, in this case, it's a tool, And Anne is making it available and using her letting her students see the power exactly like the professors at Ohio State did. They let the teachers see the power and how it could change what they did. In this case, it was only mathematics classrooms and science, because it was the tool was pretty limited. But that's not the case. You know, we're looking at a tool this platform that's free, that's available to everyone, that we can use to provide curriculum. And as one of our teachers said before, so many of the teachers will use the curriculum exactly as it's delivered. Others will want to localize it, modify it to suit their needs. But the choice is up to the teacher. If we give the teachers a base curriculum, then they can modify it or not as they have time, as they see fit to meet their needs. And so we have a model for that already from Texas Instruments from many, many years ago. And there's no reason why those of you at universities, particularly in teacher education, cannot do that same model, make that same model, and really change how technology is used in classrooms. We can't just continue to give technology to people and say, integrate it into your classroom. Teachers don't want tools. They want curriculum. Elliot and I did a paper. Actually, we did a conference presentation in 2006. Now, do the arithmetic on that. 2006. And the title was, Schools Don't Want Technology. Schools Want Curriculum. That was 2006. And have we given them curriculum that already has technology embedded? Not yet. But since we have been able to create this Center for Digital Curricula at the University of Michigan as a center for providing free curriculum, hopefully in the future we can do that. And with the help of this incredible team, we can get that done.
Well spoken. Thank you, Kathy. It is an expression that we've been using. Schools don't want technology. Schools want curriculum for quite a while. And the world has been through a lot of technology tools and it really hasn't seen a lot of change, right, folks? But now that with the curricula that embeds the tools, it's deeply digital, it uses the tools, and we have a chance at it. And folks like Dr. Ann Tapp teaching it to the next generation teachers and in-service teachers. Now that's a way to change. Well, folks, we do have a little time left.
I just saw, excuse me, Elliot, I just saw Dawn's note. What we've created saves time for teachers. And that's the other point.
Whoa.
Having been a teacher, we cannot give teachers things that cause them more work. If it doesn't improve their life, it doesn't make their teaching easier, then we're wasting our time because they have enough to do already. That's why we can embed things like Google Forms so that some of just the routine grading that they do, they don't have to do anymore. Anything that's a URL, as has been said, can go into a map. So if you have a favorite tool, it's fine. Use it. Use whatever you like, or use the technology as it is. I'll stop.
but to hear Dawn say that it saves teachers time, I mean, that's right. I'm a techie. I'll admit it. And I'm just so enamored with the technology. And it's taken a few years, but I have finally listened. It's not about the technology. It's about the curricula. And what the center is doing is create curricula, but we have these amazing set of teachers, and they are creating these wonderful resources, and people are using them. It works. So questions, folks? More questions? You can open your mic.
We also invite other teachers, those of you who are out there. If you are an expert in an area, by all means, create curricula and send it to us. We want this to be the wiki model so that the community creates wonderful curricula that we will share with everyone.
Post it on the OER websites. It's just a URL, so you can post a roadmap on any of the OER websites. from Curricula to CK12 to Go Open Michigan to your local OER website. It's just a URL. So thank you, Kathy. It's really a point. You want to create roadmaps? Create them and post them. Questions? More questions? Comments? Thoughts, folks? We've got so many wonderful people from all over the world. It's mind-boggling. Can you see, folks? Can you see how to use these roadmaps in your world, in your classrooms? Any comments? Furiel, does your mic work finally? Say hello.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, finally, yeah, because here the internet a bit like very weak basically. So I'm from Beirut. I'm still here. Yeah, it was really good, very informative. I'm gonna use it with my research students here because that's what we're looking for in this part of the world. Just some tools, free tools and all that we could use online with the students. Like, yeah, I was wondering if I'll be able to share it with like schools, public schools here and private schools and all that, because we're struggling with online learning during this pandemic. They don't know, it's all over the place. Everyone grabbing a tool and try to use it. So I guess if I refer them to this platform, that would save them lots of time.
Absolutely, Furiel. And as Dawn put in the chat, we run weekly webinars. So Furiel, you can invite those teachers to our webinars, or if you have a group of folks that want to do it, we'll put on a webinar for you folks. Because you're going to be, we usually do it 2 o'clock, 8 p.m. at night on Thursday, which will be a little late for you. So if you have a team of teachers who want to learn how to do it, tell us and we'll just arrange a webinar. It's not that big a deal. Absolutely.
That's really great. Yes.
Absolutely. And your schools are more than welcome to use this platform, the URL. I'll send out some information because I have everybody's emails, and I'll send out the URLs. Please do come. Please do use it. The more use, the better.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Elliot, I'm sorry, I came late. So am I on your list too?
Could you put your email in the chat? Then you will be.
Thank you. By the way, shout out to all my friends. Fariel, hi.
Yeah. Hi, Melda. How are you?
Very good to see you all. Thank you.
Oh, excellent, Melda. Thank you. Yep. We will send it out. And all the curricula, it is Common Core state standards aligned, the social studies, though it's Michigan's version of it. So you might need to tweak it a little. We've been focusing on K-5 because that's who we felt there was a real dearth of materials for K-5. So we've focused on that. But if you want to do more higher ed or middle school, high school, like Kathy said, be our guest. Do it. Do it. Comments, questions, folks? Please open your mic and speak. Yes, because today actually at 2:30 we're offering a 2-hour workshop where we're going to do a deep dive, a make and take, and you will come out being able to create these roadmaps this afternoon at 2:30 Eastern time. And if you want that, if you can do it, let me know, and I'll put. Actually, I'm going to put in the chat the URL for our Zoom link. Okay, I will do that right now, so that you can come this afternoon at 2:30.
It's already in there, Elliot.
Oh, it's in. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dawn. Way ahead of me. Yeah, right. Okay, any other questions, folks? We're coming to a sort of the end. Last minute question, email, okay. Oh, Ecuador, wow. Well, thank you very much, folks. Thank you for coming. I hope you felt the time was productive. We'll make all these resources available to you. You'll need to create a Google account in the Roadmap Center, and then you can use this roadmap. We'll post it. You can have it. And again, if you want a workshop for your teachers, tell us. We'll put it on. It's not a big deal. We can do this. We do it all the time. We've done hundreds of them. Well, about 100 of them. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Be of good health. Stay strong. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Thank you very much for coming. Bye, folks.